My name's Keith Sharwood. I'm co-founder and board member of Witter Ranch Community Alliance in North Natomas. I'm also a volunteer with Sacramento Police Department. Chief Summers, where are you?
Right behind you.
There you are. I don't know how you do it, really. It's amazing. We've got such a small police department for a city our size. And it just never ceases to amaze me that we manage to still have quality people on the force who genuinely care. I see it all the time. In my role as a community leader, we're proliferating neighborhood watch wherever we can throughout our neighborhood, and we teach people call in suspicious activities. And it's really heartbreaking when they do exactly that, and the call's handled properly, and but no officer is available because they're pending calls all the freaking time. And in Natomas, a lot of times our officers are cross-districted. They're sent to other districts to help out there. And we just don't have enough. I know that there's some talk about wanting to have fewer officers in the city of Sacramento. I guess their goal is to have city of Sacramento have the fewest officers per capita as any city our size, but we're already there. So I just want to express support for this budget, to keep it up, and to keep growing the department to the size that we as a community deserve to have. We need to have our calls responded to when we call. Thank you all.
Thank you.
On a lot of long walks with my beautiful retired racing greyhound, and it takes me takes us past Station 43 quite a bit. And I'm so shocked that we still don't have a truck in service there. We're all asking for a truck, right? We're all asking for a truck. And ditto all that about the ambulance too. I'm just going to focus on the truck right now. We already bought a truck. It was there on opening day. I touched it. I sat in it. I touched the letters 43. It says serving North Natomas. We have the truck. We bought the truck. By way of builder fees, we bought the truck. And yes, the promise was that it would be funded with actual firefighters. So we need that. I'm sure you all are. Angelique comes up to you and says, I got to tell you how special Natomas is. Well, it's true, but I'm going to use the word unique just so that it doesn't sound like I'm patting ourselves on the back too much. We are unique because as we built, we paid for the things that we need. We need you guys to do the rest. There's not another truck in the city that's just sitting there waiting already with numbers on it, waiting to be put in service. And silly me, as I was walking by this station, I saw the truck wasn't there, so I assumed it was out on a call. It's not even at the station anymore. Put 43 back where it belongs in 43 and put some firefighters on it, please. Thank you.
Want to weigh in? Council Member Carr.
I wasn't on the council when Measure U passed, but I was a citizen of Sacramento, and I know what the council sold me on, and that was a measure to restore. We had fallen on hard times, and we needed a boost to restore parks, to restore police, to restore fire, to restore the things that have been cut from the recession. And I bought into it. I said, yes, I'll vote for that. And included in the discussions that I heard about Measure U is that when the economy improved, the general fund would be able to take over these issues and would make us, Measure U would make us well until the general fund got well enough for us to take over. And I think that's how you sold it to me. And that's how you sold it to the people who were sitting with me in those discussions. If we renege on that, it's going to be very difficult for us to go back to people and say, hey, the economy didn't improve as well as we thought it was going to improve, and we need to do something different, or we're going to have to cut services. If we don't spend the money like we told people we would spend it, our integrity is at stake as a council. And it's going to be difficult for people to believe anything we say. I think we have some time now to plan for the transition. We have better economic data this year than we had last year, and we'll have better next year than we do this year. But I think we need to spend the vast majority of the money on the things we told people we're going to spend it on. Keep a little bit aside. It's always smart not to invest in programs that have to be sustained, like people, but invest in equipment and other improvements that you would spend one-time funds on. So that's sort of my position. And looking at it from an outsider, when this council passed this measure, you told me you needed it to fill in the gap. And I think we can't do anything else.
All right. Any other comments from anybody? Okay, we have one more speaker, and then maybe there's a motion in store. Go ahead.
Okay, Dave Genet.
Mr. Mayor, thank you for giving me an opportunity to address this council. I've only been doing it for 21 years as the director of Sacramento's oldest neighborhood watch called Crime Watch. There's only a few people up here that were here when I was here in 1994 when I asked the question, how can our city have the kind of clearance rate that it does with 646 police officers? 646 police officers in 1994. In the last 21 years, ladies and gentlemen, our population has grown by 100,000. And this constant denial of the Public Records Act by the police department back there doesn't want to tell me information that's published every year in the annual report. Read the language here. Here's the paper trail going back to February. My God, what's going on that we can't get data from the police department's annual report in 2014, which in years past has conflicted with what we hear in these council chambers? Where is the police union? I haven't seen them here since Aaron Donato left on budget workshops and budget issues. We have the finest men and women of the Sacramento Police Department of any city in this state, if not the nation. And they bust their hump going call to call to call to call. Where's the data? Why does a civilian who has to take time away in his twilight years, I just turned 70, moderate income, not rich man, have to go out and hire an attorney and then find out that the watchdog for the Brown Act and the Public Records Act is already retained by you? So if I do find a way to file suit against the city, are the taxpayers going to pay to defend my lawsuit for the public interest that is sacrosanct in this state? How many other law firms do you have off the books?
Dave, we need your final thought, please.
My final thoughts is treat our police officers with the respect they deserve, honor the Brown Act and the California Constitution's Public Records Act.
Thank you. PD in the house. All right.
David Genet. And then Lorraine Brown, and then Laura Rubalcaba.
I hope you can zoom in tight on this. There is a little story that will follow that, given what I have in my short 2 minutes here. Watch that. It's much more interesting than I am. Apologize. You probably can't see that clearly. Chief, this afternoon, I apologize a little bit for being harsh at you this afternoon. 18 minutes for Measure U, an hour and a half for Parks and Recreation. What is our city's number one priority? I mentioned this afternoon that when I first met with Junior Captain Rick Brazil and Jim Hyde, I said, how in the hell do you have the highest clearance rate of any police department in California with 646 police officers? How the hell do you do it? You know what our population was then? 377,000. What's our population today? Grown by 100,000, hasn't it? It took some effort to get the results from the public records request, and I didn't get it all. I'm still waiting for it. But right now, as of last month, 632 sworn police officers in our city. Less than we had 21 years ago. I'm out on the street 2 or 3 nights a week with these officers from 10 o'clock at night till 3 o'clock in the morning. This officer is dealing with something that one of your sergeants posted on Nextdoor last night. They're losing so many bikes on the street, they're now becoming second-story artists, ripping off high-end bicycles on balconies on the second floor right here downtown.
David, we need your final thought, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We need more officers. We need hotspot policing. We need to get more communications. And please, don't make me have to go to court for public information that our citizens need to know. Thank you.
I just want to kind of put a plug in as well for the Sacramento Police Department. I've had the opportunity to do many ride-alongs, and I do them at all different times of the day. And I've had an opportunity to see firsthand what our brave force does in order to protect us and the things that they do in order to make sure that our city is safe. And I'm a big fan and a big advocate of those who I've had the opportunity to travel with and those who I have not. And I just want to kind of let you know how proud I am to be a teammate with the Sacramento Police Department in making Sacramento one of the safest cities in the entire region. So good job there. I want to talk a little bit about the Mayor's Gang Task Force. And for those of us who know me, know that this is something I'm passionate about. I'm a member of the Safety Ad Hoc Committee. I've had an opportunity to sit down with the officers who are currently working on gang intervention and prevention. For the purposes of this conversation, I'm not going to call it the Mayor's Gang Prevention Task Force because I don't think the mayor should own it by himself. I'm going to call it the Sacramento Gang Prevention Task Force because I think it belongs to all of us. And as I heard the people come and speak before us, I think I hear them constantly talking about building better relationships and trying to make sure that we get in front of this issue, which is something that I'm passionate about as well. And so I appreciate cops and clergy for all those who came out here. For those who are going to be at the meeting on Thursday, I have the opportunity to be there, and I've got a special treat for you, so come hungry. So I'm looking forward to that. But anyway, I think we all know that there was an unfortunate situation that happened in 2010, and it happened, the barbershop shooting, and as a result of that, what I found out is that in 2010 we had 44 known gangs. In 2010 we had 50 Sacramento police officers focusing on gangs. Today we have 91 known gangs, an increase of 47. Today we have 22 police officers, Sacramento police officers working, a decrease of 28. So what we're seeing is an increase in gangs in Sacramento, but a decrease in resources. I don't think that's a formula for success, and it concerns me as I go through it. In the first 4 months of 2015 alone, we have seen an increase of 628 new gang members, or better yet, 5 gang members a day, and if we continue at that rate, we will pass 2010's total in the next 32 days. In all the meetings that I've been to, meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting, and all the reports that I read, and everything that I've been involved with, the one thing continues to come forth is that we lack coordination. There are a lot of good things that are going on in Sacramento. People are working in silos to do the work, but it's not a coordinated effort. And I feel strongly that we need a coordinated effort to address these issues of gang in a proactive way. We had that in 2011. We had the Sacramento Gang Prevention Task Force, made up of city leaders, law enforcement, CBOs, education, faith, and community leaders who put together a strategic plan. And we all know that that strategic plan was never moved to action. So it was a strategic plan. It was painful because people sat in a room for many meetings putting together the plan, but the plan was never moved to action. I feel that this plan will focus us on our priority neighborhoods, the community groups. It will touch the community groups who need a better relationship and who are looking for ways to trust our police force and get involved. I feel it will help us with our My Brother's Keeper action plan. There are so many different things that this plan would help us to bring that coordinated effort together. During the community budget workshops, the two most common budget priorities were youth programs and crime prevention. Youth programs and crime prevention. These priorities are exactly what the Sacramento Gang Prevention Task Force would address. I will ask that we utilize the same process that we did for the investment in our homeless services. I would ask that we set aside $1 million for this effort. I would propose that the Safety Ad Hoc Committee work with the chief and his staff to update our prior gang prevention strategic plan and set the parameters on how the money would be spent. I envision that in the first 3 months, we would sit down and do all that collective work of looking at the plan, understanding what still works, what still makes sense, come back to the council and talk about how we move to action in the following 6 months, develop a plan of moving to action with measurables that would get us the kind of impact that we have. And then month 9, we would come back and talk about the success that we've had of moving to action. It would not just be a plan sitting on the shelf, plan that people just met without moving to action. This would be a plan that would have measurable impact. And after 9 months, we would have 3 more months to continue our move to action as well as start planning for the new budget year. And so I feel adamant that we have to continue to be in front of this whole issue of gang involvement and gang activity. We know that this gang thing has grown beyond the colors and the geography. It is no longer just red and blue and Meadowview and Valley High and whatever other areas that they are involved in. It goes into cyberspace now. It goes into YouTube. It goes into Facebook. I mean, they're fighting each other. It's growing in ways that I don't think you have the resources for. And so I'm confident that we've got to have a collective effort of everybody working together, not in silos, in order to address this problem, to continue to stay in front of it. And so when I look at all the resources, cops and clergy, law enforcement, community-based organizations, neighborhood associations, probation departments, school districts, after-school providers, intervention and prevention services, community groups, did I miss some? I mean, I'm sure I did. But we want to be inclusive, and we want to make sure that if we miss some, that everybody has the opportunity to come to the table to be a part of the solution that I'm asking us to get in front of.